I think by now black people are aware that Halloween is turning to one of the most racist holidays in America. Last year, we have seen a couple sarcastic, not really sarcastic, but just blatantly racist Halloween costumes, such as, um, well, yeah, we remember the orange is the new black situation. Um, we remember you had the Trayvon Martin costume, blackface, um, and the Jordan Davis thing, and then I believe there was a couple other. I'm pretty sure there was other white kids, you know, walking around with a noose over their neck with blackface. So we can really see that once when white kids grow out of Halloween, they grow out of that little simple ghost costumes and they just kind of go all in with these race costumes. And I've read an article by a feminist website, and it was talking about costumes not to wear. And they were just kind of dancing around the black issue. They mentioned some black costumes that people would obviously be offensive about, but I felt like but what I read from the article, what I looked at was just really stuff on Native Americans and Asians. I don't really think people are really offended by a Native American costume or like a geisha. The Japanese geishas. Well, then again, with the whole Redskins thing, I can see how Native Americans, but I don't really see how Asians can be offended. But maybe they don't like ninja costumes. I don't know. But back to the point is that we can see that um, we already got a preview of the white kids doing blackface, and they're making fun of. Really, they're just poking fun at the Ray Rice situation, and hopefully I'll remember to post the pictures on while you listen to my video. And I wonder what Crystal and Karazan's gonna say. Nothing, of course. Um, and this is what happens when you just really you kind of suck up to white people, and yet you kind of forget the racism. You know, from the get, I knew that the Ray Rice situation um, was kind of a farce and was just white people really did not care about how black women were abused from real life situations to even in general. And the thing is the media is one thing, but open forums is another thing. And when I was looking at all these open forums, I looked on YouTube videos from white people's perspective, and a lot of people theoretically they kind of supported Ray Rice, but they threw him under the bus as well. And what I noticed with some of these white folks is that they will be like, they'll talk about Ray Rice and how stupid he was for marrying a gold digger. I keep hearing the repeated term gold digger being described as his fiance, well, his now wife, Janae Palmer, and a lot of white people see her as a gold digger, and they're like, giving her a hard time because they're saying that, oh well, this stupid bitch messed up her only source of income. Now she's broke with Ray Rice, and they're a broke couple now, and they can't do anything because she wanted to cry victim and shit. And that's really basically what they're saying. And yeah, I'll to a degree, I would say that yeah, Ray Rice, he shouldn't have married that type of female, whether it was a gold digging situation or it was probably just some good sex. I don't know, but this is why you really just can't uh, fuck with people based on face value. What's a pretty face gonna do? You know, I mean, I'm sure surely Ray Rice will play football again. He will. Though I'm sure he's aware that the white media is kind of bullying him, but I feel like there's like a secret hand that's shaking him, saying like, "Hey, you're back in when we're ready." I think he's kind of like a scapegoat, but really the point of this video I'm trying to make is that a lot of white people really don't care about this Ray Rice situation. Wait, let me rephrase that. They do not care about black women being abused. That's the thing. Now, you remember the whole fiasco with the NBA PSA? Not the NBA, the NFL. They did their little thing on how they're against domestic abuse, and what happened? No black women. No black women. And you just have to kind of realize that, the white media does not care about black women being abused. They just care about shaming black men. And if you notice lately, it's been kind of a weird coincidence that you have a lot of these black men on the national news making headlines. Hint, did you know that October is domestic violence month? So it's kind of funny to a degree to where you have all these coincidences. Ray Rice was pretty much 70% of the discussion, and now we have this other situation where we have two rapists. Uh, you have the black man with dreads who allegedly kidnapped this white girl from UVA, some school in Virginia, and she died. And they recently found her body, and the dude is being held in Texas, I believe, still. And there hasn't been much detail on what he did specifically to her. You probably gonna hear any details until the trial. But right now, they're just kind of been mourning her death, and just talking about how much of a sweet girl she was, and she was a lovable person, how she'll be missed, all that. And then you have the other situation where you have the black man who in Indiana who kidnapped and killed prostitutes, black prostitutes. Now I've heard of that story before, the Indiana man. This story isn't new. The recent deaths are, but the story isn't new. Cause I remember this story back in 2000. I don't know if it was. They say the girls were missing since 2000. A couple girls were missing since 2005, but I don't know if I think I may have when I first heard the story. It may have been. It couldn't have been that long ago. I could have sworn it was like no more than 4 years ago. But then again, I could be wrong. But I just remembered the story previously, and they were saying that this dude was going around kidnapping troubled girls, and there was this one girl got missing, and it shook the whole neighborhood. All the girls in that neighborhood were scared the hell out because of that dude. I remember that making national headlines. And so now in 2014, I believe two more girls were killed, and and to have more details on this man. It's kind of a crazy year for black men in particular because we kind of, it's kind of like now we're like the sexual bad guys, the sexual bandits, you know. And I feel like we've been bullied. This each year is a new theme for us, you know. A while ago we were getting beat up and shot because we were looking like thugs. Now we're the bad guys because we like women. And I'm not co-signing these rapists. I'm not co-signing these dudes. You know, they need to face the law. They need to go to jail. They need to die. Whatever. But I'm just saying, as a black man and as black men as a whole, we're kind of being looked at as sexual bandits. You know, we're out of control. We're wild. We're loose. You know, even on a lighter note, you know, recently everybody heard of the story with Iyanla Vanzant, with her interview with the guy with 34 kids. Um, you know, with that fiasco, you know, we're just seeing black men just aimlessly fucking everything that moves. And, you know, we've been the bad guys, you know. I feel like this theme for 2014 for black men is just, you know, the sexual bandit, you know, loose, out of control sexually. Because you know, if you think about it, like how many cases did you hear this year about black men's sexuality or just interactions with women? Yeah, the street harassment thing. A lot of feminists played it off like it wasn't a race thing, but when you kind of peel the layers, you know, it is a race thing. Because I'll make another video on the street harassment thing later, but in general retrospects with the street harassment, you know, black men were the face. You know, we weren't allowed to talk to women on the streets. They were coming up with all these dumb rules and laws and regulations to scare black men from talking to women in general. Yeah, it just kind of got so ridiculous too. I was really shocked to see that this shit went on national news for a fucking campaign telling black men that, oh, we're not allowed to tell a woman to smile. What kind of shit is that? You can't tell a woman to smile? Really? I okay, so if we're gonna say that, okay, the struggle of being a black woman is so unbearable that they can't even smile, what kind of what do you think black men are doing? You know, if black women were all mean, angry, ready to fuck up white people, we'd be the bad guys, wouldn't we? They don't like talking about black men who are ready to whoop a white man's ass. They don't like that. They ain't gonna put that on the news. You know, it's so silly, like really. And I know black women go through stuff, but the thing is, you know, that's just a little double standard, you know. As a black man, try being angry and mad around your mom all the time. I bet she would tell you, oh, you better be happy. You better be smile. I remember when I wasn't having a good time with my parents, with my mom or dad, and you know I had to smile because they told me to. You know, even in general, I'm kind of like an angry person, but you know, black women always tell me that, oh man, you should smile more. You know, it can be a lot better with your life if you smile and you think positively. Now, how come people can tell me to neglect the shit I go through? But yeah, it's so I can't do it to you, black women. I don't want to go on too long about that. It's not really a big deal. Like what the hell can they do? You know, make it illegal for me to say, hey, black woman, smile. What are they gonna do? Throw me in jail? But there has been just a lot of stories, man, shaming black men. Um, even on a realistic level, when I saw the story with Jan Van Zam, I do believe that black men really do need to sit down and chill, and kind of be less dependent on sexual urges and worry about other shit. Because I just kind of see it often that black men tend to use sex as an escapism from the real world. And, I think it's time to, it been time to, take care of our responsibilities. But hey, I'm not gonna shit on all black men. I'm not doing that because those women, those 17 baby mamas, they played a part in it too. They played a bigger part than he did. So, at least in my view, black men really need to get ourselves together, control our sexual urges. That is the most important thing. I think, I keep hearing stupidness from black feminists and feminists in general talking about ways to stop rape. Well, I don't know how you can stop rape in the white community. I think that's a whole different topic, and that's a lot harder than people think. Um, Going down on the specific nature of the white man quest for power and supremacy. That's kind of another thing. Stopping his rape and tyrant. But with black men, I have to say with these stupid feminists is that rape is not taught. I don't know what the fuck you. I don't know where the fuck y'all come up with this shit that all men or specifically black men, because that's really the aim, is that black men are like Pacific or like programmed to rape. Like, where do you get the shit? What we black men are surrounded by women like 70 to probably 90% of the day. And the only men they're around are sexually frustrated men who just care about fucking and can't do anything constructive. The men they're around are weak, mentally weak. They're not around real men. The thing with me is that if you really are serious with, hey, stopping rape, I think what needs to be done is that black women need to show sexual standards and say, hey, I'm not gonna fall for this. I'm not gonna fall for sweet talking. I'm not gonna fall for the thug. I'm not gonna fall for you know, the repeated one night stands. Because these boys are catching on and they're seeing how easy women are and how gullible they are. And another thing that I really think with rape in the black community, I think a lot of these rapes with men is that I believe those men are not used to a no. Like, I think they're too used to sex, and I think when they meet a woman who rejects them, they have to resort to violence, or they can't live with that type of rejection. It's not like I feel like with black incidences, it's not like white people where technically their sexual predators are typically sickos or guys who masturbate to bestiality and child pornography. I think with black men it's a lot different. But I'll probably say, hey, if it starts with the women, because the women are around these kids, especially these male kids, majority of the time, and they're catching on, and they are seeing their mothers become sexual wastebaskets, and they're taking advantage of that, of seeing women who fall for the same bullshit. If women would stop being knocked up and stop being so easy, learn to have some standards, real standards. I ain't talking about standards is not rejecting every single dude. Standards ain't rejecting the good dude and you like the bad boy. Have realistic standards. Men with goals, realistic goals. Men that can grow some real money. a lot of these issues with the sons and the boys are really mother's fault. I really do blame a lot of these single moms for how sexually frustrated these boys are. These young boys, like 6 years old, walking around with their female cousins or sisters, and these little girls are wearing fishnets, stockings, ridiculously tight and revealing clothes. I saw this one girl, this girl was in all leather, and I found it kind of odd because I was like, why is this girl dressed like this in the middle of nowhere? It's a hot Thursday, nothing's really going on. And it was just like my thing of like, this girl has to be an escort. And I just looked at the little boy she was holding. And she kind of, it was weird, but she was like kind of moving the boy away from me. And it was a good thing she did that because I really wanted to snatch that boy from her. Because I'm just kind of sick and tired of this shit. Seeing these black boys, they're constantly being sexually teased. Using cousins, mothers get fucked. They need to stop teasing these boys, and this is why they get sexually frustrated and they get mad. That's something about, it pisses me off with feminism is that feminism wants females to be all so sexually loose, but when the boys take advantage of them, or the boys kind of, I'm looking for, they try to, it backfires. Feminists will say, "Oh, it's okay for a woman to prostitute herself." She is. I literally had this same argument last week with an African girl from school, and she believed prostitution should be legalized, and I was like, no, because a lot of these boys are sexually frustrated, and they do not have the control like some women may have. The thing is, we have this kind of victim blaming society to where, not even really, I don't want to say victim, but victim comforting. We're too victim comforting. To what I mean is that feminists will say that it's cool for a prostitute to express herself sexually, sleep with a whole bunch of people. She's expressing her womanhood. But the thing is, when she's pregnant, the dudes don't want to fuck with her or take care of the kids. Then the guy's the bad guy. You know, even in general, if the guy even fucks with a prostitute, you know, what feminists like Johns, they uplift Johns or say anything good about them. They, when those dudes fuck up or when those, they're the bad guys. Prostitution is not a respectable. It's dangerous. They can get killed. Some of these girls are kidnapped, used, and you actually have women who want to legalize this shit. I mean, maybe some of these chicks don't know the difference between an escort and a prostitute, but the thing is, it's wrong. I don't really believe in paying for sex. Um, I think it's stupid and it's dangerous. And society doesn't have that kind of maturity to do that safely, you know. And plus, half of these girls aren't on that feminist bullshit. That's the thing about feminism that I really hate is that feminism will talk for the majority or the entirety of women. But the thing is that if you flip the script, most females do not agree or even know anything about feminism. So it's just kind of funny how it's like feminists are like false claimers in gangs. If you think about it, you have these false claimers and they're acting like they're all hard and they know shit about the street life, but in actuality they don't know anything. They just kind of watch shit on TV and expect that all of that's real and that's what they really go through. But in actuality, it's not. To me, I just why I kind of hate feminism because it doesn't truly represent women, especially black women. But I feel like this video is going all over the place. The main points I just wanted to discuss was that we really need to be mindful of how black men are portrayed in the media and be aware of its themes. This year's theme is, the abusive, sexually out of control black man. We have all these stories of black men raping and in domestic situations. You know, we just have the recent one with Bill Cosby, and there's another guy who's been accused of rape. Comedy sketch. I don't know if he's black though. You know, we're seeing all these things and all these stories, and it's. I don't have a problem with women and coming clean about abuse and speaking out. My only problem is that when they are talking to the white media as if those white guys give a damn. In actuality, they don't. These guys really just joke around and have the misery and pain that these women face. People to just realize that is that we're on our own and we can't rely on white help to fix our issues.